Hi from my platform, Linda's TV show. If it is your first time, you are welcome. Please, after watching this video, if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe, put on your notification bell to all notification. It is very, very important because it will enable you to know when I upload a new video. Here we upload videos on daily basis as it is happening. We are bringing it live and direct, undirected to you. After watching, you are free to criticize, you are free to say your opinion, but let us say it constructively. Myself, Linda, will be standing here watching this video together with you from the beginning to the end. Then we'll go to the comment section. I appreciate you all, my lovely subscribers, followers, those who comment and share this video as we watch the video right now.
Well, reaction is that the court has delivered its ruling in its wisdom. It's the same court that gave judgment on the 13th of this month, ordering a release or a discharge of Nnamdi Kanu. Well, the same court in its wisdom has this afternoon, though a different panel, but the same court of appeal, held that there should be a stay to that same order of discharge, meaning that Nnamdi Kanu will remain in custody. That is, for us as lawyers, we don't have anything to do, I'll say, until, especially knowing that the substantive appeal itself is before the Supreme Court. We go to the Supreme Court and ventilate the case of our client, Nnamdi Kanu. So that is the hope we look forward to, especially against the backdrop that they also made a consequential order that the record of appeal should be transmitted to the Supreme Court within 7 days. That gives a hope, an indication that the appeal will be heard within a record time. So we hope that will take place.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yet that, even on the record of the court, that the lead counsel, Chief Mike Ozekome, who brilliantly argued the appeal on Monday, this application against the federal government, is presently attending the International Bar Association Conference in Miami, Florida. So I heard his brief. Thank you.
Finally, Malami have come out to actually at least properly address the issue so we can actually know why the federal governments have refused to release Nnamdi Kanu since this whole issue came up. But let's talk about the first point now, which is on the rule of law. We are not lawyers, but we also read that the law said that he's been discharged. Now, Malami and the federal government have gone to the Supreme Court for stay of execution. Let's now bring it back to the second point, which is on national security and, of course, jumping bail and, of course, international diplomacy. He listed a lot of things. Let's get to have you react from the first point and the second point, as a matter of fact, on national security. How is Nnamdi Kanu a threat to national security? Maybe there's something you know that we don't know here.
Well, for the records, I'm not in the national security team of the government, so it would be strange for me to have access to any kind of information that, I mean, you as a reporter you do not have access to. Now, let's take it from the rule of law. Well, like you said at the outset, we are not lawyers, but then basically we know that the rule of law simply means the supremacy of the law over our individual emotions. Now, whatever emotion the federal government or operatives of the federal government have against Nnamdi Kanu at this point is immaterial. The law, through the instrumentality of the court, has spoken and has, if you like, discharged him. One would expect that the government, being an institution that is a creation of the law, will simply obey the law by freeing him first. You said the government has appealed and applied for a stay of execution. I mean, you can't keep detaining him pending the granting of that stay. What if the court does not grant that stay? So one expects that, I mean, the government should show example by obeying the law. Remember, people have also said even before now that this is not something that can be solved judicially, that this is something that should be solved politically. Now you see that even the judicial solution does not even favor the government anymore. So there must be more to this than Nigerians know, because I mean, with due respect to the Attorney General, I don't think it sounded convincing with that explanation. Now, with regard to national security, which is the second leg of the four-legged defense he put out there, with regard to national security, again, it's possible that they have access to some intelligence, or maybe they have a dossier on Kanu that we don't have. So it's possible that there's something they know that we don't know. But if you say Nnamdi Kanu is a threat to national security, then that's an argument you should have put up before the judges in court. Now, if you put up that argument and then you were not able to persuade the judges, and then the judges took that into account in freeing or in discharging Nnamdi Kanu, then it's a failure of prosecution. It's a failure. It's a case of non-diligent prosecution, and you can't blame somebody who benefits from that and then keep holding him even when he has succeeded in getting the court to release him. Those are the two issues.
You talk about international diplomacy, that he was committing this crime from other countries, and basically that's what makes him a fugitive, also because he jumped bail and ran to this country.
Now, if you say he was committing crimes against the Nigerian state from other countries, what's the nature of the relationship between those countries and Nigeria? Is there an extradition agreement between those countries and Nigeria, in which case you could issue an arrest warrant and then get those countries to arrest him and repatriate him to Nigeria for prosecution? That's the civilized way of doing these things. And not to remember that I also gathered that the court specifically called his rendition, his arrest, a kidnap.
In fact, the court in Omar 2 days ago also said that they should return him to Kenya, as a matter of fact.
So, I mean, if you even talk about international diplomacy, it would seem that it is Nigeria that is even in breach of international diplomacy here. So, like I said, I don't find the Attorney General's arguments in the public domain persuasive. At any rate, these arguments are not meant for public consumption, if you ask me. These arguments that the matter is read before a court now, these arguments you should take to the court and not to bring it to us. We are not the ones who are holding Nnamdi Kanu. We are not the ones who even granted him, who discharged him. It's the court who did it. So take these arguments to court. But as things stand now, the subsisting court judgment is the judgment of the Court of Appeal, which has freed him. And so as a government that is a creation of the law, the government cannot be above the law. One would expect the government to do the proper thing by releasing him first and foremost before we talk about other things. Is there a possibility that he's going to jump bail? I don't know, because I mean I am not a seer. But if that is also possible, the government can also take steps. I'm sure that if the government goes to court to say, look, we want some kind of limitation of his movement, the government will withhold his international passport if that's possible, if there is any credible fears of his possible, of the possible fact that he may jump bail. But the basic thing is that right now, as things stand,
because there is even no age limit for you to be governor or be president. By that time, maybe you would have been clocking 70 to 80 years. Right. Since they don't want to leave power. So, as far as I'm concerned, the actions of Abaribe, to me, is my personal opinion, I describe it as greediness. Trying to do everything possible to remain in power. And it is not good for our democracy.
All right, Marcus, you're from Abia State. That's one.
You don't need to tell Nigerians.
Well, I don't need to tell Nigerians, but it's an obvious fact here from there.
Ahead.
Okay, but they say they don't change a winning team. Okay. And experience counts, so they say. And he's an experienced senator. Why shouldn't he still be there to make sure that things actually move on and are working fine there? In senior climes, we have senators also who stay for a long time, right? So what's wrong with him staying there? Johannes's group pushing or asking for him to really abandon his ambition. Do you think they've also been automated to do what they're doing today? That's my question to you, Marcus.
Nnamdi is Oku, right? Yes.
Uzuku.
Nnamdi Uzuku. I think it's from Anambra State. Since he wants to expose the states of origin, let's be exposing it now. On a serious note, I totally align myself with the statement from Ohaneze Ndigbo. And like you rightly pointed out, I am personal about Abia State. It's a personal thing to me. If Abia was halfway what Rivers is, some of us won't be here. I could be living in Aba and just visit Port Harcourt for business transactions and go back. But Nnamdi, you cannot travel from Port Harcourt to Aba by road. Somebody even made the joke out of it. It says, when a doctor says, shake this medicine before you drink, don't shake it. Drink it and travel to Aba. It will shake in your stomach. By the time the vehicles are done with you, the drug will properly mix in your stomach. The road between Imo River and Aloji in Aba is under Abaribe Senatorial District. I challenge anybody to probably tag me a video or something where Abaribe, on the floor of the National Assembly, made 1, 2, 3 cases for the presence of that federal road under his senatorial district. I also challenge Senator Abaribe to show us how much he has been able to add to the national budget on the federal road construction for his constituents. It's a terrible sight. So, if you are talking about experience, I will quote Showore again. The only experience people count on in Nigeria is experience to loot. You don't need, okay, how many people were experienced in 1999? Did we not have a Senate president? How many people were experienced in 1979? After a long military tenure. Did we still not have the man from, I think from Rivers or so, Old River States, Wires or so? Joseph Wires. What, how experienced were they when they took up helms of leadership in the National Assembly? So, you are talking, you journalists, you have a war with Senate client, Nigeria is not a sane client. So don't bother about comparing us with Senate client. We are not in America.
But we adopted the practice.
Let us also adopt integrity from America. Let us adopt good road from America. Do you see any road in America that looks like Aba Port Harcourt Express? Is there any road like that? So when we borrowed the American Senate Constitution and Senate democracy and Senate senators, why did we not collect American hospital, American road, American security? Why did we not do that? So Abaribe should go and rest. And that is not to mean that Zekpazu, who is also in the PDP ticket, should take it. Because if I am to rate him, he has also not done excellently well. As much as that road between Aba and Port Harcourt is a federal road, there was another alternative road from Aloji into Park that can still take you out as Osisioma, so that you can bypass the gory nature of the federal road. What did the current senatorial candidate of PDP, in the person of Governor Kezekwazu, do about that road? Even if it's just a short-term measure to mitigate the suffering of the so-called people you want to represent. What Abaribe has done over time was to play around IPOB. Because you are Nnamdi Kanu's guarantor, so that you can be popular on the streets among those who are disgruntled with the government. So if you are guaranteeing somebody who wants Biafra, what are you doing in Nigerian Senate? I think the best way Abaribe can protest and align himself with the Biafran struggle is not to run for office in Nigeria and wait when Biafra comes. He can now be Senate President of the Federal Republic of Biafra.
Are you saying that Abaribe is actually playing on the intelligence of Abians?
He's not I'm not saying that's what he's doing. I said Nnamdi Kanu has not shifted ground from his quest for a Biafran Republic. And Abaribe has always aligned with that, to the point that he was his guarantor. So I'm saying, how can you be guaranteeing someone who wants Biafra and you are in the Nigerian Senate? I think his personal protest, the best way to show Nigerians that he's not happy with Nigeria, that he's aligning with the cry of...
Thank you so much for sticking to this video to the end. Like I said before, now it's time for us to go to the comment section to air our mind and our opinion. Say what you think about this video and this platform. Do it constructively. Share this video, like, subscribe, and also continue to watch Linda's TV show, because this is the home of news. Until I see you again in my next video, remain blessed. For now, I would say bye-bye.